World Series Report 71 with Joe Garagiola and Sandy Koufax. Brought to you by Texaco and the many thousands of Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. Trust Texaco to have the right gasoline for you.
A standing ovation for Nelson Briles, the winning pitcher for Pittsburgh in that 5th game. Briles himself said that it was one of the most touching moments of his baseball career. When this fella throws a ball, he really puts a lot into it. Watch him now as he pitches to Paul Blair. This is the last out in that 5th game. Watch him fall to the left. There it is. Now he's being congratulated. And look at that affection shown by the catcher. Just fantastic. They take care of those pitchers. I'm Joe Garagiola, Sandy Koufax standing next to me. You see tickets for Game 6 and 7 if necessary. And Sandy, Jim Palmer pitching for Baltimore is really not too much of a surprise because he did beat him. He is the big man. But the choice of Moose by Danny Murtaugh, did that surprise you?
I don't think so, Joe. I think Danny realizes all he has to do is win 1 out of 2 games. I think Danny respects Jim Palmer. I think he believes that he's the only pitcher on the Baltimore staff who could shut out the Pirates. And if he pitched Blast today against Palmer, and Blast pitched a great game, a good ball game, maybe 1 run, 2 runs, he could get beat 2-1 or 1-0. But he figures that if he goes tomorrow, he's got him in a ball game where he thinks he'll get him at least 3 runs. If they beat Palmer today, he'll be very happy, but at least he's got another chance now.
You don't think it was that headline we saw? We saw a headline. I want to tell you about it. Loose moose set to cook bird's goose. That was really in a paper. In that 5th game, we saw another side of that Pittsburgh club, the speed. Now, the obvious way to see speed is a stolen base, but there are other ways. Take a look at this now. Manny Sanguin, the fastest-running catcher in baseball, steals second base. It's close.
You can see that Davey Johnson a little unhappy, but when you see the slow-motion replay, you can see why the runner beat it. Watch his foot. His foot is into the bag, and Davey puts the tag up near the knee. And if you don't get the foot on a play like that, you can't get the man called out.
Nelson Briles is the batter, and Sanguin, on second because of the stolen base, scores easily on this base hit by Briles, who helps his own cause. So that's the obvious way you see speed, the stolen base, and it paid off. Now here is Kleins at first base. Clemente is the batter. Now here is, sometimes you overlook this kind of speed. A hit-and-run play. Clemente hits a ground ball to the shortstop. He can't make the play at second, goes to first to get Clemente, and Kleins at second moved to third on an error and then scored on a wild pitch.
Here's another display of Klein's speed. He hit a ball into left center field. Blair, good jump on the ball, couldn't catch up with it to catch it, made a good play off the wall and got it to Belanger, who was the cutoff man. Mark looked the wrong way at first, couldn't believe that Kleins was going into third, and looked toward second base and couldn't get him at third.
Sandy, when you see that kind of speed, how did it affect you as a pitcher?
I think it affects your rhythm out on the mound. You tend to pitch a little faster. Maybe you try and hold the runner at first base a little longer. It breaks your concentration at home plate. And I think a lot of times it affects the catcher in his selection of pitches. I think the catcher is worried about the man stealing. He just calls for the fastball a little bit more often than you might like him to.
He does lean on the fastball, and he'll stay away from off-speed pitching. I know that. And then he'll start thinking about pitch outs. And I think it affects infielders to the point that they rush that ball.
Well, I think so. I think in an earlier game in the series with Clemente, he hit a ball back to the mound to Cuellar, and Mike hurried his throw and threw the ball away. And if it's somebody who can't run, well, you take your time. Usually you get them at first.
Listen, I've been kidding you about the catchers, right? And you've been giving me some zappers back. I want you to take a look at a piece of tape, and it might change your way of thinking about catchers. Watch this, if you will. Now, Hendricks is the catcher, and Boog Powell is the first baseman. Did you notice who fell down that building?
Well, can I ask you, are you really that strong?
Watch it in slow motion. Here it goes. Boog Powell, 786 pounds. Elrod Hendricks, 109 pounds. And watch this building collapse and completely unfold. That was recorded somewhere on a seismograph. Now, how do you feel about catchers?
I may give you just a little bit more room.
Well, we're going to talk to the fellow who knocked that guy over and give me room, okay?
All right.
Elrod Hendricks, Baltimore catcher, has just joined us. And first question, Ellie, what's it like to run into a building called Boog Powell and survive?
Strange feeling, very strange. After all, he had with me about 105 pounds, and I didn't expect to come out the way I did after we collided.
Was it a hard or a soft feeling?
Very soft. I hit him just right.
Ellie, you got Jim Palmer pitching today, and from the stands, it looks like he has to have the high strike, or are we wrong? Doesn't make any difference.
Well, he's better off when he's up high. His fastball does a little bit more for him. It rises, sometimes it tails a little, and he's a lot more effective up. So I think we'll have to say that he's a high fastball pitcher.
In the last ballgame he pitched, Ellie, against the Pirates, he had a National League umpire. He complained about not getting some high strikes. And I know I've heard a lot of talk about the difference in the two leagues, but maybe if Joe will walk up to the plate, we can see the difference in the two strike zones. I get you down there in a catcher's position, and we can talk about the fact that in the American League, with a left-hand hitter, the umpire would be directly over the catcher and behind it. And where would the bottom of the strike zone be in the American League if Joe is the hitter?
Right about off in here.
Yeah, and the top of it would be up a lot higher,
right
wouldn't
here.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, now in the National League, the difference, because the umpire being inside on the catcher's shoulder, the strike zone would come down, and that would bring the low strike down quite a bit lower and make it awfully difficult to get the high strike, wouldn't it?
Right, yes, Andy. Right about off in here, I was just in National League strike zone. That's the bottom of it right
That would
here.
be the bottom, and the top of it would come up where?
Top of it would be about right here.
Well, that's not much above the belt. That makes it a little tough for a high ball pitcher to get a strike. I think that, might be the problem, but I think all of us will probably agree as long as the strike zone is consistent, as long as the same umpire calls the same pitch a strike all day, it really doesn't hurt that much. You just have to know what you're going to get for a ball and what's going to be a strike.
Well, definitely. You find out right about, let's say, the first inning, what the umpire's going to be down with you all day, or is he going to be up. If he's going to give you the pitches above the, let's say, the armpit or something like that, then you can look forward for the rest of the ball game.
Does it affect the way you call a game?
Well, basically, no. First of all, I got to see what my pitcher got out there. If he's wild, there's not much either of us can do for him, whether the umpire or myself, But if he's got pretty good control, I think it helps, like I said before, to find out very early in the ball game.
Sandy, you told me an interesting story coming out here. I had never heard it, and I'm sure Ellie has never heard it.
Well, in 1956, because of this difference in the strike zone, Sal Magley took an extra day's rest in the World Series. He wanted to pitch with the National League umpire, and Sal pitched a fine ball game. He pitched a two-hitter. I think he only gave up 3 hits, but unfortunately, Don Larson pitched a perfect game that day.
The rotation then was set according to who was umpire?
Well, Sal, being a low ball and breaking ball pitcher, wanted the National League umpire and ran into a perfect game.
What will you tell Palmer today? To just forget who's umpiring and just throw?
Right, just get it and throw as hard as you can for as long as you can and try to get him out.
That's simple enough. Ellie, thank you very much. Good luck to you, and we'll be sitting in the stands watching. And watch out for Boog Powell.
Okay, Joe. Thank you.
In just a couple of minutes, it'll be time for game number 6. It's been a good World Series. The first 2 games, Baltimore really took command, 1 to 2 games here in Baltimore, and it looked like with the pitching and the hitting that the series would end in 3 games the way they were going. But then they moved to Pittsburgh, and the Pittsburgh Pirates showed why they were the National League champions, winning the 3 games in Pittsburgh, and that's the way we stand today. Pirates have shown pitching, they've shown hitting, they've shown speed. Game number 6. Here in Baltimore, Jim Palmer against Bob Moose. And Sandy, I'm just curious, I've never been in that situation. What can a manager say to his ball club, like Earl Weaver would have to say to his club, that if they lose today, it's all over?
Joe, I've never been in the 6th game where it could be all over. I've been in the 7th, I've been in the 4th. And it's awfully difficult for a manager to say anything to his players. You've played 180 games at least, and it seems like it's the end of a long year, and the only manager I ever played for was Walt Alston, and Walt would tell us that usually that he was proud of us for getting there, and it's an accomplishment to win your league, and if we won today, well, we've won it, or you've got another chance tomorrow, and if we don't, to have a good winter, and see you in the spring.
Grown-ups talking to grown-ups. You want to pick a hero?
Joe, I don't think so. I think if it could be the last game, along with heroes can also come goats, and I'd just as soon not pick either one when it's finally over.
Couldn't agree with you more. So, game number 6, if Baltimore wins it, we'll be back tomorrow. If not, you have a good winner.
World Series Report 71. has been brought to you by Texaco and the many thousands of Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. And now stay tuned following station identification for game number 6 of the 1971 World Series.
Let's go back and review the heroes for the first 5 games of the 1971 World Series. In Game 1, it was Dave McNally who got the Orioles off to the start. He was the winning pitcher. Brooks Robinson in Game 2, on base 5 times in a row. Then Steve Blass with a brilliant 3-hitter for the Pirates, helped by a big home run by Bob Robertson. Young Bruce Keeson became the talk of the nation with his clutch relief pitching and a big pinch hit single by Milt May. And then, in Game 5, a 2-hitter by Nelson Briles. And, of course, all through this series, Roberto Clemente has been a standout. The leading hitter, his arm and his speed have given the Orioles something extra to think about. Who'll be the hero of Game 6? Well, we'll find out as NBC Sports, a service of NBC News, presents Game 6 of the 1971 World Series. The National League champs, the Pittsburgh Pirates, versus the American League champions, the Baltimore Orioles. Brought to you by Phillips 66, the performance company. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts. By Chrysler Corporation, extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. And by the 2-bladed razor, the new Gillette Track 2 twin-blade cartridge shaving system. Hi, everybody. Curt Gowdy of NBC Sports, Chuck Thompson, the telecaster of the Baltimore Orioles, and down on the field will be NBC's Tony Kubek. It's cloudy today here in Baltimore. The weather's warm, and the cloudy day should help the hitters here with the White House background that we have in Baltimore. And, of course, the Orioles now are up against it. And there's no doubt about it, Pittsburgh has taken the play away from Baltimore. Over at Pittsburgh, the Pirates were more aggressive at the plate. The Orioles were taking too many pitches. The Pirates much more aggressive on the bases. And you know, the longer you're around sports, you realize you can't go by the book. Everybody said the Orioles were by far the superior fielding team. I thought I was watching Hannes Wagner and Pie Traynor over there in that Pittsburgh infield on Thursday, as the Pirates had been a much better fielding team. No alibi by the Orioles. They admit they have been outplayed. And they say, we've got to do it ourselves here today. Let's take a look now at the starting pitchers. And it's up to Bob Moose and Jim Palmer. There's Bob Moose this year. He won 11 games. He lost 7. He won his last 4. Many experts are criticizing Danny Murtaugh for pitching Moose today. They think that Steve Blass should have gone, but Murtaugh's made some wonderful moves so far in this series. This is the 6th starter, by the way, for the Pirates in the series. And on the mound for Baltimore will be their 20-game winner, Jim Palmer, who won the 2nd game of this series in 8 innings. He was lifted and didn't finish the game, but was taken out with the Orioles having a big lead. So that's the way they set up. And now let's get the slants here of Mr. Chuck Thompson.
Thank you very much, Curt. Good afternoon, everybody. I think in a word, Curt, the story for Baltimore this afternoon is pressure. Do they handle it or do they not handle it? The history of the Oriole Ball Club has been, great and successful, but without any pressure. In other words, go back to '66 and a 4-game sweep over the Dodgers in the World Series. And then they came along in 1970 last year against the Cincinnati Reds and win it 4 games to 1. And they had things very easy, clinching pennants very early. They've won all of the championship series they've been in the American League. The only time the Oriole Ball Club has faced pressure was 1969 in the World Series against the New York Mets. They won the 1st game. They lost the 2nd game when the pressure mounted, and the Orioles were not able to defeat the Mets in the only pressure series they have been in. I think that's the story here in Baltimore this afternoon, and perhaps Frank Robinson said it better than anyone else when he said, this afternoon we're going to separate the men from the boys. And now let's go down to Tony Kubek.
With me, Frank Robinson. Frank, your broadcaster here with the Baltimore Orioles talked about pressure just a moment ago. I want to hear it right from your mouth. What about the pressure here on your ball club? Is there any?
Well, actually, Tony, I don't think we feel the pressure. It may be that the newspaper men and the fans feel the pressure, but we're professional ball players. We've gone through big ball games all season long and before, and we know what we have to do today.
Well, you know, all the writers and a lot of other people that you've talked to have been coming to you, I know, and saying, what's the matter with the Orioles? I think they're sometimes forgetting to give the credit where some of the credit belongs. The Pirates have played a good series so far.
The Pirates have played a good series, Tony, actually, and we haven't played our type of game at all, and even in the 2 games that we won. Our hitting overcame our defense, and the pitching held the Pirates' hitters down and held them off. And the last 3 ball games, the pitching hasn't been bad, but we haven't scored any runs, we haven't hit. And we've been playing bad defense for the whole series. And again, we just feel like today we're going to put our game together and get back on the winning track.
You know, Frank, one more quick question. A press release this morning that came out in the Baltimore papers. It's been said of you, you're going to be the first black manager. You are highly qualified, black or white. Today you came out with a statement saying you don't want to manage. Why the change of heart?
Well, actually, Tony, I've been thinking about this all year. My last year in Puerto Rico, I said in spring training that this was a year I was going to really think about what I wanted to manage or not when I'm through as an active player, and I've been thinking about this off and on all year, and this is the decision I've come to. Right now, I really don't want to manage any ball club in the major leagues or even in the minor leagues. I just want to continue to play next year as an active player, and maybe after that, and see what comes about. But I hope maybe to stay in baseball in some capacity, maybe when I'm through as an active player. But right now, I don't feel like managing is what I want to do.
One quick question, will there be a game tomorrow?
Well, as far as the Baltimore Orioles is concerned, it will be a game tomorrow. We feel like we're going to win today. We felt like we was going to win the day before yesterday, Tony. But we are very confident in ourselves. Like I say, it's no pressure, and we feel like it will be a game tomorrow.
Frank Robbins, thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Back upstairs.
Not a capacity crowd today. The crowd will not be as big as we had for the Saturday and Monday games here.
Good afternoon,
the pitchers are warming up, and now we're going to have the introduction of the starting line.
For the 6th game of the 1971 World Series. Here are the official lineups. First, the National League champions, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here is the manager of the Pirates, number 40, Danny Murtaugh. Batting first, playing second base, number 30, Dave Cash. Batting second, playing third base, number 20, Richie Hebner. Batting third, playing right field, number 21, Roberto Clemente. Batting fourth, playing left field, number 8, Willie Stargell. Batting fifth and playing center field, number 16, Al Oliver. Batting sixth and playing first base, number 7, Bob Robertson. Batting seventh and catching for Pittsburgh, number 35, Manny Sanguillen. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 2, Jackie Hernandez. Batting ninth and pitching for the Pirates this afternoon, number 38, Bob Moose, warming up on the sidelines. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, for the American League and defending world champions, Baltimore Orioles. Here is the manager of the Orioles, number 4, Earl Weaver. Batting first, playing left field, number 9, Don Buford. Batting second, playing second base, number 15, Dave Johnson. Batting third, playing first base, number 26, Boog Powell. Batting fourth, playing right field, number 20, Frank Rettemund. Batting fifth, playing center field, number 14, Merv Rettemund. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 5, Brooks Robinson. Batting seventh, catching for Baltimore, number 10, Elrod Hendricks. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, number 7, Mark Bellinger. Batting ninth and pitching for the Orioles this afternoon, number 22, Jim Palmer, warming up on the sidelines. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Baltimore Orioles. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, which will be played by the Hamilton American Legion Post number 20, Senior Drum and Bugle Corps.
And now we're going to have the ceremonial first pitch. And the honor here goes to Rube Marquardt, a Hall of Famer, one of the outstanding left-handed pitchers of all time. He's 82 years old. He lives now in Baltimore. And he holds a record that pitchers have been trying to shoot for year after year after year. The most consecutive victories in one season. In 1912, Rube Marquardt won 19 in a row. He won 201 games in the National League. He was a free spirit and a fellow who really enjoyed baseball. And they tell many, many stories about him. He had better control than that. Rube Marquardt. There he goes. All right, the sixth game of the 1971 World Series being brought to you from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, as the Pittsburgh Pirates meet the Baltimore Orioles.
Ladies and gentlemen, the umpires for today's game are behind the plate, John Kibler. At first base, Lester Schott. At second base, Ed Sudol. At third base, John Rice. On the left field line, Ed Margot. On the right field line, Jim Oldham. Temperature at game time, 68 degrees.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. The umpires in today's game: John Kibler behind the plate, Nestor Shylock at first, Ed Sudol at second, John Rice at third. Ed Varga will be umpiring the left field line, and Jim Odom the right field line. No wind today. It's overcast. The Orioles take the field. And now to take over the first 4.5 innings, play-by-play, to set up the Orioles defensively for you, is the voice of the Baltimore Orioles, Chuck Thompson.
Thank you very much, Curt, Gowdy, and good afternoon, everybody. Here, the Orioles defensively, Powell at first base. And the Orioles' second baseman is Dave Johnson. And the fellow they call the Blade, Mark Belanger, the shortstop. And the Oriole third baseman, Brooks Robinson. In left field is Don Buford. The center fielder today is Merv Rettemund. And in right field, it's Frank Robinson. Catching in Game 6, Elrod Hendricks. And on the mound is Jim Palmer. He started the second game of the series. He won it 11-3. He won 8 innings, allowed 3 runs, a Rich Hebner home run, 7 hits, 8 walks, 10 strikeouts. And as I mentioned, it was Rich Hebner's 3-run home run in the 8th inning that deprived Palmer of his shutout. Some years ago, as we think of years, this young man celebrated yesterday his 26th birthday. But in 1966, he became the youngest pitcher ever to pitch a shutout in the series. It was 9 days before his 21st birthday. He won it 6-0 at Dodger Stadium over Sandy Koufax, and that is the only complete game he has in series competition, Curt.
Chuck, I wonder how wild he'll be today. He walked 8 in that second game. He struck out 10, but he was wild consistently with his fastball up high. Let's see if he gets it down today.
Even more as remarkable of the fact that he did walk 8, when you think of the Pittsburgh Pirates and what a fine, aggressive, attacking ball club they are, how difficult it must be to walk 8 of these fellows who are up there just swinging. And to say that the Pirates have been impressive in the 3 games in that beautiful Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh would be the understatement of the year. During the course of the American League campaign, I have not seen a club in the American League, other than Baltimore, that came close to what Pittsburgh showed me in the 3 games in Pittsburgh. They were just excellent in all departments. Well, this is World Series game number 400. In Baltimore, Game 6, Palmer's pitch to Dave Cash. Powell should make the play. 1 ball. Cash had a World Series average of 143. It had 3 hits and 21 trips. Now here is Rich Hebner, and that's his seasonal average for the Pirates that you're looking at right now in the series. Hebner is a .250 hitter. He's been up there 8 times with 2 base hits. One of those 2, however, was a 3-run home run off this man, Palmer, and he too is first ball hitting, and Rettemund is waiting for him.
Well, the Pirates going after that first pitch. They're a first ball hitting team, but here's one man who's not. Let's watch Clemente now. He does not like to go for the first pitch. Maybe he will, though. We'll see, though. But normally he doesn't.
Curt, Clemente is hitting .429 in the series, and unfortunately, I do not get to see as much National League baseball as I would like to. The only chance I have a chance to see Clemente and Aaron Mays and those fellows is on your game of the week. And I just have to say this, Curt, that if Aaron and Mays are any better than Roberto Clemente, then they deserve a very special place in the Hall of Fame. This man has just impressed me so much that I'll never forget Clemente. A ball 1 to him, and as you said, he does not like to go for the first pitch. He can do everything so well. Now a ball 2. He runs well. He's got a magnificent arm. defensively. He does it all. And what a hitter. Now, that's not to say that Mays and Aaron are any less than a Clemente, but certainly, how can they be any better? We're watching Buford, and he cannot get to it. Here is Clemente again, on his way for 3. Belanger off the mark, and Clemente has tripled.
Boy, how that man can run for 37 years old. Here's his swing now. Notice how he cocks that leg right over the plate to him. Palmer grooved it. Clemente's been hitting the ball mostly to right field, only once to left. But he pulls that ball. He'll pull the pitch over the plate in the inside pitch. Roberto Clemente's 10th hit, and he's been the outstanding player in this 1971 World Series.
He's got a chance of being the outstanding player in baseball. Now here is Clemente's slide into third base, and the throw from Belanger was way off target. And now here is Stargell in a ball 1. Willie is hitting .250. The triple by Clemente means he is now hit in 13 consecutive World Series games.
And Chuck, let's repeat again the all-time record. Clemente can't break it in this series. Hank Bauer hit safely 17 World Series games in a row.
And a ball 2 to Willie Stargell. Among the memories of this World Series, I will remember the greeting that this man got when we played the first game in Pittsburgh. He had but 1 hit here in Baltimore in 2 games, and what an ovation he got from the Pirate fans the first time he came to the plate. Something I'll remember for a long time. And the count is 3-0 to Stargell. Clemente at third base, and the Pirates again have got something going. Now it's 3-1. As a matter of fact, only in 3 innings did the Pirates go 3 up and 3 down. In Pittsburgh in the 3-game set out there. They had something going every inning. 3-2 to Stargell. In the second inning of the 4th game and in the 3rd and the 8th innings of the 3rd game, the Pirates were 3 up and 3 down. Other than that, they had something going every inning. He couldn't stop the swing. A big strikeout. The Pirates, no runs, 1 base hit, no Oriole errors, 1 man left on. And so at the middle of the 1st inning, the score is Pittsburgh 0 with Baltimore coming to bat. Yes, he did. Maybe I laid it out a little too heavy about Clemente.
Oh, you did. Here's a guy. Here's a guy. 37 years old. Here's a guy that's been underrated all his career and never played. Like a grown up today. I think we got to do it. I think Mays probably is a better baseball than more power.
When you get into every department of baseball, then what's going on?
That's it, Mays. Wouldn't you, Alan? Mays a little better. Better RBI, man. A little more power.
Okay, thank you. Now defensively, first baseman Bob Robertson, and the second baseman is Cash. The shortstop for the Pirates is Hernandez. And at third base, Rich Hebner. Out in left field, Willie Stargell. And the center fielder is Al Oliver. And the right fielder, the one and only, Clemente. Catching, Manny Sanguillen. And on the mound is Bob Moose. Well, the Orioles. Buford, Johnson, Powell are the 2 batters to Bob Moose. Buford hitting 125 in this series. 2 for 16. All right.
It'll be interesting, Chuck, to see if the Orioles are swinging more today. The Orioles were taking a lot of pitches over in Pittsburgh.
1-0 to Buford. Base hit. Well, Bob Moose, who just gave up the hit to leadoff swinger Buford, has been used twice in relief in this series, working in both previous games here in Baltimore. He pitched 3 2/3 innings in the first game, a run and 3 hits, and 1 was a home run by Buford. And then an inning in the second game, and he gave up 5 runs and 5 hits. And that was a game when everything Baltimore hit seemed to find an opening. Here is Dave Johnson, a 167 hitter on the year. More correctly, a 167 hitter in the World Series. 3 hits and 18 trips. Whoops, almost caught Buford leaning the wrong way with an excellent pickoff move from Bob Moose. That's a very important part of a relief pitcher's repertoire, and Moose has been used in relief. For that matter, it's a very important part of any pitcher's repertoire. Johnson waiting the first pitch. Strike one. So Moose's ERA in the 1971 World Series in 4 2/3 innings, it figures out to about a little better than 11. But factually, that is history and does not necessarily apply to what could happen here today. 1 strike pitch to Johnson. Oh, 2.
Those are the kind of pitches that Blass, Bryles, Keeson were making over in Pittsburgh on the corners. Not much over the plate, but nibbling at those corners.
Now the 2-strike offering to Dave Johnson. Waste pitch, 1 2. We mentioned Palmer's birthday yesterday. Well, last Saturday, Bob Moose had a birthday. 24 years old. Palmer yesterday was 26. A little disturbing about those numbers for this reporter. 24, 26. Foul ball. Here is one of the more underrated players in the American League, Dave Johnson. He has consistently been an outstanding defensive performer for Baltimore, and certainly he has been a very consistent hitter for the Orioles. This will be a 1-2 pitch. Out of play. Johnson on the year for Baltimore. He hit .282. He had 18 home runs. He knocked in 72 runs. And he committed 12 errors in 142 games. Again, the 1-2 to Johnson. Out of play. Bob Moose, the kind of a fellow that normally will not give you a lot of free tickets. He's got pretty good control. In 1971, he averaged only 2.25 walks per 9-inning game. Discounting 12 intentional walks, his average would have been 1.5 per 9-inning game. So that's outstanding control. Well, Hebner, 1, 2.
Taylor-made double play ball. Hebner over to Cash. Cash has been doing some outstanding pivoting in this series as the middleman on that double play. Here's Buford going on into him. And Cash has hung right in there around the bag and nimbly hopped or skipped or tumbled out of the way and completed his throw to first.
Boog Powell, 2 out, nobody on, no score. Bottom of the first inning. Powell in the series hitting .111. Out of play. 2 hits in 18 trips. He has 1 run batted in. That compares to a seasonal mark of .256 with 22 home runs and 92 runs batted in that you look at right now. One and 1 the count to Powell. And that's quite a picture, Curt.
It's like Danny's taking a little nap in the first inning. The
1-1 to Powell. Well, it may be out of play. Sanguillen gives it a look. It is out of play. The count, a ball and 2 strikes. Powell has done well in previous World Series competition. His high would have been in '66 in the 4-game sweep over the Dodgers. He had 357. Against the Mets, he had 263 in '69. Last year against the Reds, a 294 hitter. It's 1-2 to Powell. Now it's 2-2. Earl Weaver. You'd have to say, I'm sure, the Oriole manager has to be this afternoon a little bit on pins and needles. Two balls, 2 strikes to Powell, 2 out, nobody on, no score, bottom of the first if you just joined us. That's a foul ball, and Mr. Kibler, unfortunately, got that right on the foot. So Powell takes a little bit of a breather, and I think plate umpire John Kibler is enjoying a little respite right now, too. That had to sting. One base hit. There were no Pittsburgh errors and nobody left on. At the end of 1 inning of play, it is Pittsburgh nothing and Baltimore nothing. On Powell.
Yeah, just the basket catch. I want to make a comment about it. Do it anytime. Why can't you do it?
Coaches.
Oh, the coaching. We've seen it, coaching.
Coach.
5-4.
Oshiak coaching at third for the Pirates, Leopard at first. You saw Clemente. Here's the way he makes his basket catch. He's sensitive about it. He was accused of trying to copy Willie Mays when he first came up, but that's always been his natural way of catching the ball.
Here is Oliver as we go to the Pirate half of the second inning, and Oliver hitting .214 in this series. 3 hits and 14 trips. Curt.
I'll say when Palmer got Stargell up there, those last 2 fastballs he threw were the hardest he's thrown in a World Series. He really reached back to get him out.
And out of play. 2 strikes now to Oliver as he got the fastball up and in on him.
Chuck, you've seen him a lot more than I have, but today he looks sharper than he did in the second game.
He appears to be. He was, as we mentioned in the second game, Curt, when he does get wild, he is consistently high wild. Well hit. Frank Robinson. And now see the throw to second base, and Oliver will beat it without too much trouble. So again, the Pirates continue what they have done in almost every inning of play here in the World Series, particularly the last 3 games, to be a little more accurate. Keep pressure on Baltimore pitching, base runners just about every inning. A leadoff double by Oliver. Pirates 2 hits now, Clemente's triple and Oliver's double. Now Bob Robertson. Bob has been to the plate 17 times in the series with 3 base hits, but 2 of the 3 have been home runs, and he has knocked in 4. His series average is .176.
He was trying to go to right field, move that runner over to third.
Be interesting to see this afternoon if Palmer will throw a few more sliders than he might normally throw. I'm trying to remember, and I don't believe we have seen the Palmer curveball yet. May have one time. There you are. Now it's 2 strikes, and that was the Palmer curve. Nobody out. Oliver, the runner, at second base. And you just saw the count to Bob Robertson. From Mount Savage, Maryland, or Frostburg, if you prefer. No, 1 and 2. In Palmer's 8 innings of game number 2, he threw, I think we totaled him out to 168 pitches, which is, you know, many too many. 2 and 2 now. Base hit, Buford charging. Oliver around third, headed home. Here's the throw. Nowhere near it. Pirates lead 1-0. Robertson at first base with his 5th run batted into the series, and there is Earl Weaver to talk to Jim Palmer, and he will be joined by Elrod Hendricks. One of the comments that Oriole players made about this 6th game was how hopeful they were that they could get on the board early. They felt that was important to score early in this contest. Well, the Pirates have beaten them to the punch, which is something they have done with alarming consistency over the last 3 games.
And the Pirates are really running the bases aggressively now. That ball was hit hard, as you saw, on one hop.
Catching for Pittsburgh.
Many teams might have held Oliver at third. But they waved him right on, and he beat the throw easily.
Here is Sanguillen. What a series this young man is having. His seasonal average, as you see, .319. And in the series, a .286 hitter with 6 hits and 21 trips. And among those, a double. Out of play.
Also unusual, Chuck, that a catcher would be leading the World Series in stolen bases.
How true. And we are, I think, going to get some bullpen activity for Baltimore. Another base hit.
Palmer appears to have good stuff, but he must be making some bad pitches in there. They're teeing off on him in this inning.
One of the comments that sometimes is made in a situation like this is the fact that perhaps Palmer could be, and this might be unfair criticism, but he could be pitching a bit too cautiously. And the Oriole bullpen activity has right-hander Dave Leonard and left-hander Grant Jackson. But the Pirates, with nobody out and a run in, have a king-size threat mounted against Palmer. And here now is Jackie Hernandez, a .364 hitter. There's the bunt. Palmer's play to third. They got him.
Fine fielding play by Palmer. There's Leonard, the right-hander, Jackson, the left-hander. Hard to bunt on Palmer. He can get off that mound. He has cat-like ability.
And would be classed, I'm sure, as the finest defensive pitcher the Orioles have. That is, fielding his position. He's as good as anything Baltimore has to offer. And now here's pitcher Bob Moose. Lifetime batting average in the National League is .124. No home runs. Out, foul ball. Curt. The Pirates won. 1 run on 4 hits. The Orioles no runs on 1. We're in the top of the 2nd inning. Missing with a curve to make the count 1 ball, 1 strike. What about being under the gun? Certainly Jim Palmer is right there. Powell fields the bunt. No play at second. Back to first. The sacrifice moves the runners up. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. Two gone, and the Pirates second and Dave Cash. That's the seasonal mark, and in the series, he's now 3 hits and 22 tries. Strike one to Cash. Your base runner, Sanguillen at third. Hernandez at second. Ball, 1-1. The count now is a ball and 2 strikes to Cash. Dave, in the first inning, first ball hitting, popped out to the first baseman, Powell. He awaits a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. Well, Johnson and center fielder Rettemund. Should be second baseman Johnson. That's it for the final out. But the Pirates pick up 1 run on 3 base hits, no Oriole errors, and 2 men are left. At the end of an inning and a half, the score is Pittsburgh 1 and Baltimore 0.
This is number 1. This is number 1.
What's the record for left on in 6 games? What's the record for left on in 6 games?
Thank you. Very quickly, a look at the Baltimore coaches. George Staller, the first base coach, and at third base is Billy Hunter. Well, the Pirates score first. And the Orioles now have gone 18 consecutive scoreless innings against Pittsburgh's pitching, which was not supposed to be able to match Baltimore's pitching. That's the 71 series figures in Frank Robinson. 2 home runs, 2 runs batted in. And that seemed to get Manny Sanguillen on the right leg, and he is a little uncomfortable. One strike to Frank Robinson. He'll be followed by Merv Rettemund and Brooks Robinson. They are the 2 batters to Bob Moose in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Two strikes. Good. Breaking stuff from Moose. And that picture is worth 1,000 words. One gone, bottom of the 2nd inning, and the batter is Merv Rettemund, a .222 hitter in the series, and one of his hits a home run. He has knocked in 4. That's the Rettemund figure for the 1971 campaign.
Chuck, these Pirate pitchers are really picking the spots. You saw Sanguillen move to the outside and set the target for Moose. And boom, he hit it perfectly against Robinson.
He also wanted his center fielder, Al Oliver, to move over more to straightaway center field. Out of play, strike one. That's the reason for the gesture on the part of Manny Sanguillen before Bob Moose's first pitch. Rettemund has good power to right center, right field. And 1-1. Shortstop Hernandez. 2 down in the Orioles' second inning. And here is Brooks Robinson, a .375 batter in the World Series with 4 runs batted in. And he also has committed 2 errors. Now 1-1 to Brooks Robinson. Moose ended the regular season with a 4-game winning streak, 3 of them in relief and 1 as a starter. The last time he lost was August the 7th to the Philadelphia Phillies, 5-3. Now it's 2-1. Two out, nobody on. Pirates won, the Orioles nothing. Last half of the second inning, game 6. 3-1.
Fans might notice how low Sanguillen works behind that plate. That's what a manager loves to see. Watch him. He looks like a snake in back of that plate.
This will be a 3-1 pitch to Brooks Robinson. Bob Robertson makes the play unassisted. The Orioles 3 up and 3 down. At the end of 2 complete innings, the score is Pittsburgh 1 and Baltimore nothing. Trying to steer the bat out of the ball, aren't they? That's exactly right. They're swinging like Molly putts. Buford single. As the Pirates come on in the top of the 3rd inning, it will be Rich Hebner, then Clemente, and then Willie Stargell against Jim Palmer. And I'm sure that the pressure, if Palmer feels it, and he'd have to feel some of it, does not get any better when he watched the futility of the Orioles' swings. Strike 1 to Hebner. Hebner, first ball hitting in the 1st inning, fly to the center fielder. That'll even the count at 1 ball, 1 strike to Hebner. One and 2 now to Rich. Well, Dave Johnson making a move. The center fielder and the shortstop are also in your picture. It'll be the shortstop, Belanger, and we have the first out in the top of the 3rd inning. Here now is Roberto Clemente. He has hit safely now in 13 consecutive World Series games. He tripled in the Pirate first inning. He just hit a ripping shot into the alley in left center field.
I don't think any batter in recent times has ever hit the ball harder or more viciously to right field than this right-handed batter, Clemente. We've seen him a lot of hits in this series to right and back Frank Robinson up to the wall several times.
Well, Frank's going to make a move on this one. It's gone. Home run Clemente, and the Pirates 2, the Orioles nothing. And what a magnificent performance from Pittsburgh's right fielder, the great Roberto Clemente.
Watch him. They've been pitching him outside. He'll drive that ball with power, as we were saying. A home run. He's had a triple and a home run today.
And a strike one to Stargell. And the Pirates continue to do what they did in Pittsburgh. Aggressively attack the ball. Now the 1-1 pitch to Stargell. Palmer's curve. Belanger to Powell. 2 gone. First Tuesday has changed. It's now a chronologue, and we'll still examine the new and unusual stories that make the headlines. Join Garagiola and watch chronologue this Friday night right here on NBC. Ball 1 to Al Oliver. 1-1 to Al. Opened the Pirates second with a double. He yanked it into the right field corner. Pirates have 5 base hits, including a home run, a double, and a triple. Out of play. The Oriole base hit, the leadoff single by Don Buford. 2-2 to Oliver. And it holds at 2-2. And it's still 2-2. You talk about a turnaround in World Series play. Well, here in Baltimore in the first 2 games, the Orioles scored 16 runs and 24 hits. The Pirates 6 runs on 11. In Pittsburgh, Baltimore scores 4 runs on 9 hits. Pittsburgh 13 on 30. That's some kind of a turnaround. And it still is 2-2 to Oliver. And no team has ever lost the first 2 games of the series and then won 4 in a row. Pirates lead 2-0 in the third. Three and 2. And the payoff pitch to Al Oliver. Second baseman Dave Johnson to Powell for the final out. But the Pirates have scored again. 1 run, 1 base hit, no Oriole errors, and nobody left. At the end of 2 1/2 innings, it is Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore nothing.
Hey, Lou. Lou. Well, Clemente really accommodated me on that, didn't he? About hitting the ball to right field. Deep, huh? Yeah. And Chuck picked it right. He said, this is one that, let's see what Robinson does with. I never saw a guy hit the ball better to right field, right-handed.
Never. There's never been one.
No. Well, Hornsby, I guess, could. Right center.
Well, if Game 7 is necessary in the World Series, it comes your way tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time. And then football, Cleveland at Cincinnati, San Diego at Denver. And in the Oriole third inning, Elrod Hendricks, Mark Belanger, and Jim Palmer.
And the sun trying to peek through, and Roberto Clemente has just asked for his sunglasses out of the Pirate bullpen. They've been brought out to him, and he's put them on.
And we're ready to go with Hendricks against Bob Moose. Moose gave up a leadoff single to Buford in the first inning. Strike one to Elrod. And then he got Johnson in the double play ball and Powell to right field, and has gotten everybody in order since the leadoff single by Buford. One and one now to Hendricks. Prior to the ball game, Curt and I, talking about the Oriole position today, were recalling a remark that was made by Paul Richards and others in baseball many years ago when he said, "One thing I learned early in baseball is that you never say never. You just never know what can happen." The Orioles are down 2-0 in this most crucial Baltimore game. 1-1 to Hendricks. Here's Bob Robertson, and another unassisted putout. Incidentally, if there will be no Game 7, if there is no Game 7, there will be a doubleheader, football doubleheader on NBC tomorrow.
Number 7, Mark Belanger.
Now, Chuck, the last 2 or 3 games, we've seen the Orioles hit those easy hoppers to the infield. And big, lazy fly balls. They're not stinging the ball.
Well, the only time I can recall the Orioles played in this fashion, and this is not to detract in any way from Pittsburgh's pitching. Ball one. Early in the year, on their first West Coast trip, they really flattened out and went over a strand of 5 ball games where they averaged 5 hits a game. And they wound up a Western trip winning 5 and losing 7. Two 2-0 now to Belanger. But to a man, as we see Palmer in the on-deck circle, the Orioles have been tremendously impressed with the manner in which Pittsburgh's pitchers have worked. Not the overpowering stuff, the way they have used it. Now 3-0. How about that for a Kibler catch, huh? John, you're ready. Three and one to Mark Belanger. Well, Belanger breaks the string as Moose has issued his first walk. And now Jim Palmer. Coming into this inning now, the Orioles have not been able to score in the last 19 consecutive innings, and for that matter, they have picked up only 4 hits over the last 19 consecutive innings, coming into this one. That's about as futile as you can get. Here is Palmer. Strike one. That's Belanger's lead at first base, the second Oriole base runner of the game. 2 strikes to Palmer. One and two. Not at all unusual to see Baltimore do that. They quite frequently will have the bunt on one pitch, take it off on the next, bring it back, take it off. And with the pitcher and a count of ball and 2 strikes, it looked as though the bunt was in order on the last pitch. Well, Belanger will reach second on the sacrifice bunt by Jim Palmer. Two out, and Buford, who homered against Bob Moose earlier in the series.
Number 9, Don Buford.
In the very first game, Buford hit a home run off Moose. Well, Buford wants John Kibler to take a look at the baseball, apparently. Figuring that on the Palmer butt, it might have been, scarred or a blemish of some sort, and could possibly give Moose a little edge. It also gives Palmer another second or two to relax in the dugout. Ball one. One nothing to Buford. 1-1. And I'll repeat the remark that as we look at the on-deck hitter Dave Johnson, that the Baltimore batters were not, they didn't say that Pittsburgh's pitching overwhelmed them, but they were tremendously impressed at the manner in which the Pittsburgh hurlers could put the ball where they wanted to and made so many good pitches. Now it's 2-1 to Buford. Out of play, and the count will be 2-2. Again, Moose moving the ball right in on the hands of Buford, and that's a fine sort of a pitch, if you can get it there. And of course, those of you who follow this game of baseball realize full well that if you miss a little bit with a pitch like that, get it out over the plate, it can also cause you all kinds of trouble. 2-2, the count to Buford. How about that for a pitch? For the Orioles in their half of the third, no runs, no hits, a man left on at the end of 3 complete innings. The score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore nothing. I have a feeling they'll need more than 2 runs, but I do agree with what you're saying. Yes.
45
Your attention, please. Will Susan Shirley Campbell please report to the Oriole office at once?
Yeah, there's a World Series game tomorrow. We'll have baseball, then a 4 o'clock pro football game between Cincinnati and Cleveland. If no World Series tomorrow, football doubleheader. And there you see the lineup for the first games, followed by either Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver. 2-0, Pittsburgh ahead, inning number 4, and Chuck Thompson.
Here is Bob Robertson. He singled to knock in the Pirates' first run of the ball game in the second inning, and Palmer starts him with a ball 1. Kind of a fellow you'd say he's got muscles on top of muscles. Now 1-1 to Robertson.
And he now leads the series and runs batted in with 5. He's made his hits count.
2-1 now. Looks like it might have been a little slider from Palmer. This will be out of play on the count of level 2-2. The due batters would be against Palmer, Bob Robertson, then Manny Sanguillen, and then Hernandez. Another base hit. Well, the Pirates continue their trademark, almost a trademark, of at least a hit an inning. Now a total of 6 off the offerings of Jim Palmer. Here is Manny Sanguillen. How about that for a record? Hit over 305 of his 7 pro seasons.
You know, Chuck, when a team gets a man on base every inning of a game, it's unusual. The Pirates now have had men on base 18 innings in a row.
And a ball 1 to Manny Sanguillen.
Now, that's really something. 18 innings in a row, they've had at least one man on base, and most of them base hits.
Now a ball 2 to Manny. Osiak coaching third base way, giving Sanguillen the what for, if necessary, on this 2-0 pitch. Boog Powell making a move, and we'll see whether or not he has a play. Apparently he will have a play. And that's the first out of the inning. Baltimore is getting some more activity started in their bullpen. It's the same duo that we mentioned earlier. Dave Leonard, a right-hander, and Grant Jackson, a left-hander. There they are.
I think this Hernandez has been the surprise player of the series, Chuck.
Well, I don't think many Baltimore people expected he would hit better than 300 in this World Series. And he certainly is doing that. Strike 1 to Jack.
And he's played flawlessly in the field. He's supposed to be erratic, but he hasn't been in this series.
Well, those are the seasonal figures for Hernandez. A 206 hitter on the regular season and a 364 swinger in the World Series. Out of play. 2 strikes to Hernandez. And certainly if there's a Pirate ball player the Oriole pitching staff should know, it would be Hernandez, the former American leaguer. One out, Robertson, the runner at first base. There's Palmer's curveball. When Palmer can throw that pitch for strikes, then Palmer is a very tough pitcher. That's strikeout number 2 for Palmer.
Bob Moose.
Here is pitcher Bob Moose. Called upon to sacrifice in the second inning. He did so. They play him to hit the ball to the opposite field, and they're playing it very shallow, and a strike on the Palmer fastball. See Rettemund way over in right center field, and the outfielders are all up pretty shallow, with the possible exception of Buford, the left fielder. Low, ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. Well, that was a pretty good Palmer fastball. That one really moved. Powell for the unassisted putout and the final out in the Pirate half of the 4th. No runs, 1 base hit, no errors, and a man left. At the end of 3 1/2, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 0. Yes, sir. Right. Right. Let's go to Tony Kubek.
You know, as Roberto Clemente stepped to the plate the last time up before he had his home run, there were a lot of people here in Baltimore that rose to their feet, gave him a good hand, as admiring his great ability. And it seemed kind of strange to me that some of these people have never had an opportunity to see Roberto Clemente before, and I think that was a great promotion for possible interleague play. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, the Orioles in the bottom of the fourth inning start with second baseman Dave Johnson hit into a double play in the first inning. Strike one to Johnson, and the Pirates are playing Johnson a little differently than most clubs do. The shortstop, Jackie Hernandez, is really way around in the hole. Look where he is. They're giving up the entire middle to Johnson. 2 strikes on that foul ball. And with a count 2 strikes now, you see Hernandez is coming back more toward a normal shortstop position, but he's still cut to the hole against Johnson. One away. Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Dean Martin. Pretty good lineup of talent in any league, and each will host his own golf tournament that will be seen here on NBC early next year. Well, here's Powell. He skied to the right fielder, Roberto Clemente. Time where we need shortstop Hernandez is trying to get the sunglasses out at second base, and the alert second base umpire, Ed Sudol, said, hold it a minute. Let's make sure this man is ready. Curt mentioned a little while ago, the sun is trying to break through. It's not really completely out yet, a little hazy and overcast. Strike one. Moose, was kind of handicapped by elbow problems in 70 and also in 1971. You'd have to say, in the way he has worked through the first 3 innings plus, he's recovered. One Oriole base hit, a leadoff single by Buford. The only other Oriole base runner, a walk to Belanger in the third. 1-1 to Powell.
Powell's 2 for 19, of course, has hurt the Oriole attack. He's a very important man in that order. He's had the bad hand in this series. That's probably hampered him. And Chuck told you he's had better series than this one.
Shortstop Hernandez in shallow right center, and he's got for the second out. Here is Frank Robinson. He struck out against Moose in the second inning. Clemente. That's the final out. At the end of 4 complete innings of play, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore nothing. Kubek was wrong again. He said the Pirates in 7. All right. Oh, yeah. Here we go to the top of the 5th inning and the top of the Pirate batting order. Dave Cash, Rich Hebner, and Clemente again. Cash has twice popped out this afternoon, to first and to second baseman. Ball 1. One away. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Number 20, Reggie Hebner.
Here is Hebner. He has skied to the center fielder and popped to the shortstop in 2 trips against Palmer. Out of play, and he looked like he was trying to stop that swing and just couldn't get it done. One and one. One and two, and Rich looks a little unhappy, as if perhaps he felt that might not have been the kind of a pitch to be working on. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So much of the top hand into his swing in this case. And a ball. 2 and 2 now. The left hand. Very prominent in Hebner's swing. And here is the man, Roberto Clemente. 3 and 2. I don't know, but what, if I looked over and saw Clemente on the on-deck circle, if I were a pitcher, I'd be a little concerned, too. 3 and 2 to Hebner. That's a ball 4. A ball 4. And Weaver will protest. And Weaver is going to ask of the plate umpire, Kibler, that he verify it with one of the base umpires. Well, the dispute continues. And Weaver is going to go back to the dugout. But a ball 4 on the check swing to Hebner.
And as Roberto Clemente steps in, he's getting a hand. He has a chance if this series goes 6 or 7 at all-time records. The most hits by a player in the 6-game series, 12 by Billy Martin in '53. Clemente now has 11 hits so far. And 13 hits is a record for a 7-game series.
Well, Clemente this afternoon has just tripled and homered in 2 plate appearances. And the ball. Starting with the 2nd game of the series, the Pirates have had at least 1 man on in 35 of their 38 innings. That's incredible. Ball 1 to Clemente. Palmer missing with a curveball. Out of play.
Fans might want to take a look at the body of this man. You can almost put your hands around his waist. He weighs about 185. You've seen him stripped from the waist up. A marvelous chest and shoulders, long limber muscles. I'd call it almost a perfect body for an athlete.
1 ball, 1 strike to Clemente. The runner at first is Hebner. 1 out. Let's see if Rettemund can track this one down. And he does. And quite a few thousand fans in Baltimore collectively heave a sigh of relief as Clemente goes to the dugout for a change. 2 down. And here is Stargell, who struck out and grounded to shortstop in 2 previous turns. Ball 1 to Willie. One and 1. Well, Hebner not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, a step from the bag when Palmer made the move. Palmer's turn. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball to retire Stargell. No runs, no hits, and a man left at the end of 4 1/2 innings. The score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore nothing. Did somebody say I was to introduce the troublemaker? All right.
King of the promo. King of the promo. 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Ah!
Well, we're ready to go now to the Oriole half of the 5th inning with the Pirates leading 2-0 on the scoreboard and 3-2 in games. And it is our pleasure to turn you over to NBC's Curt Gowdy. Curt?
Thank you, Chuck. Merv Rettemund grounded to shorty first time. Then Brooks Robinson and Ellie Hendricks against Bob Moose, who's pitched a 1-hit, 4-inning shutout. The strike, the Pirate pitchers caught the disease from Steve Blass over in Pittsburgh Tuesday. They have been magnificent. Rettemund grounded to shorties first time. Ball 1. Danny Murtaugh kept saying, "You're all slighting my pitching staff. I know we don't have 420 game winners, but my boys can pitch or we wouldn't have won the pennant." The canny Irishman, Murtaugh, with Bill Burden alongside of him. Two to nothing, the Pirates. Last of the 5th. Breaks the curve over. One ball, 2 strikes. Moose has walked 1, struck out 2. The only hit off him, Don Buford, who singled in the 1st. Fouled away.
Curt, American League fans might ask, well, gee, didn't the Orioles see anything like this Pirate pitching in their 71 campaign? Yes, they did. A fellow with the Red Sox by the name of Sonny Siebert. He beat them 4 times without a defeat.
The secret of this Pirate pitching is control. They're putting that stuff where they want to. They're not giving the Orioles any good pitches to hit. They're moving the ball around as 2-2. They're not overpowering Baltimore, but they're on the corners. They're in and out, up and down, no fat pitches. And the Orioles are just not getting solid pieces of the ball so far. More to pitching than just striking everybody out. The 2-2 delivery. 3-2. The Orioles have gone 21 innings in a row without a run. Could be a slump, too. They won 16 in a row. You know, the law of averages can go the other way. 3-2 pitch. Swung at that high fastball. That might have been close to a ball.
Curt, if they don't get it straightened out pretty soon, they're going to have a terrible trip to Japan.
Yes, they leave right after the World Series for a month tour of Japan, playing the top professional teams. It'll be a long flight over, unless they rally. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Ground ball. Dave Cash brilliantly picked it up. His throw, he's got him. That's what the Pirates have been doing the entire series. Young Dave Cash.
Let's look at the Cash play once again. And notice that he did not hurry himself after getting to the ball. He took the time to set up and make the good throw and have something on it. And now let's watch Dave again. And watch again that he didn't rush this at all. He just took his time and got set up and then made the good throw. He'll continue. All right.
Brooks Robinson has a base hit to right field. Robinson is grounded out to first in his first hit. That's the second hit now for the Orioles. The Pirates have 6 hits. Ellie Hendricks grounded out his first time. Our NBC scoreboard shows the Pirates ahead 2-0. The Orioles have 1 out with a runner on first. And they're still playing Hendricks as almost a dead pull hitter to right field. A ball to him. Now we're going to have some action for the first time in the Pirate bullpen. And surprisingly, one of the pitchers looks like Steve Blass. Oh, it's Johnson and Luke Walker. Bob Johnson is the right-hander, and Luke Walker. We wondered about that because Murtaugh's already announced that if it goes 7, Blass will pitch for the Pirates tomorrow. 2 balls and no strikes to Hendricks. That's a foul by the Orioles dugout and looks to be out of play. 2-1 to Ellie Hendricks. The runner at first, Brooks Robinson. Danny Murtaugh wasting no time getting his bullpen ready. Even though the Orioles have only 2 hits. There's a drive into left center. Over for it goes Al Oliver. Flags it down. Robinson plays halfway and goes back to first. Mark Belanger walked his first time.
Number 7, Mark Belanger.
He's had only 3 hits in 17 times. The Pirate dugout. Ball 1. Sometime in this series, Danny Murtaugh is going to show some emotion. I don't know what it's going to be.
I think, Curt, the only time would be after he wins it, if he is able to do so.
Right, he's really unflappable. Ball 1 to Belanger. 2-0. Pirates leading 2-0 if you joined us late. Pirates scored in the second when Bob Robertson singled and Al Oliver, who doubled. Clemente hit a home run in the right field seats in the third, and that's been it. The 2-0 delivery. Inside, ball 3. And these Oriole fans now getting itchier and itchier by the innings, trying to vocally roar their hometown Orioles into some hits or runs. Brooks Robinson at first, 2 down. The 3-0 pitch to Belanger. Right in there to him, 3-1. Jim Palmer on deck, the Oriole pitcher. Ball 4, and the Orioles have runners on first and second. It's been rare for them lately. While we wait for Palmer to come up, I want to remind you that the Magic Kingdom of Walt Disney's World comes to life with help from Julie Andrews, Jonathan Winters, Glenn Campbell, and Bob Hope in a very special Friday night, October 29th, right here on NBC. Jim Palmer sacrificed his first time.
Number 22, Jim Palmer.
Not a bad hitting pitcher, is he, Chuck?
He is a pretty good hitting pitcher. Led the staff in runs batted in this year.
Brooks Robinson at second. Belanger at first, 2 down. Ball 1, Jim Palmer. Earl Weaver. Ralph Savon, the Oriole trainer whose niece and nephew called him in tears from Springfield, Massachusetts today because they couldn't get tickets to the series. The 1-0 pitch. They couldn't get him because Ralph couldn't get him. And that trainer can't get tickets. Must be tough. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore has its first scoring threat. Runners on first and second, 2 away. A ball and 2 strikes to Jim Palmer. This is the first time the Orioles have had 2 men on at the same time since the first inning of the 4th game. And they scored those 3 runs. They have been blank since. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Struck him out on a curveball. Bob Moose pitches out of the jam. No runs for Baltimore. 1 hit, there were no errors, and 2 men left. We've gone 5 innings. It's the Pirates 2 and the Orioles nothing.
I think just keep them within 2 runs there. Somebody accidentally might swing.
We pause now for station identification. We had an interesting thing happen while we were away on a commercial. This girl you see here in the ground crew, Linda Wareheim, makes the circuit, then usually comes over and dusts off, that's Davey Johnson, dusts off the shoes of the third base coach. That's Al Oliver fouling the ball off. Most of the, well, in fact, everyone I've seen always sort of gets into the act. But in the second game when the Pirates were losing, Frank Oshiak wasn't too happy there at third. And today he didn't come out in his third base coaching position until the girl had left the field, and he was roundly booed when he did appear. Oliver hits a fly ball out to Buford. 1 down. Al Oliver had previously doubled and grounded out. Bob Robertson. Single in a run in the second. Single to left in the fourth. Both times he's hit line drives. Pirates 2 runs, 6 hits. Orioles no runs, 2 hits. Foul ball, strike 1 to Robertson. We mentioned the other day some of the great players from the state of Maryland. We left out one. We apologize to him because we've been a big fan of his for years. Al Kaline. We're talking mostly about the old-timers, Babe Ruth and Charlie Keller and Frank Home Run Baker, Swish Nicholson, players like that. We left out Al Kaline, who was reared right here in this city. Foul back, 19 years with the Tigers. Came right off the high school playing fields of Baltimore to join the Tigers, and Kaline never played a day in the minor league. One out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bob Robertson. There's a line shot to Belanger, and there's 2 down. Happy-go-lucky Manny Sanguillen coming up. Single to left, fouled out. This fella could go 0 for 14 in a game, make 7 errors, 15 bad throws, and the next day would still have a grin on his face. Sanguillen, a native of Panama. Fouls it back. Pirates leading 2-0, top of the 6th inning. The Orioles have the top of their order up on the last of the 6th. Jackie Hernandez on deck. 1-1. Palmer works very quickly. You'll notice no messing around between pitches. He moves the game. Look at that Sanguillen. He'll swing at anything. I love to watch him play. That high and inside pitch to him.
Curt, I have to agree with that. I've never felt that there was anything the matter with a ball player showing fans that he enjoyed his work. And he really does. You can see he's having a heck of a time.
He slides head first into bases. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chopper to short. He can run. Belanger's throw. Safe. Foul pointing it. He was. Hattie, watch this.
Well, we'll take another look at it. And Belanger was powerless. He couldn't get to the ball on the high hop, but here is your play at first base. And he is safe.
Sanguillen, the fastest running catcher in the big leagues, on. They always compare him to Mickey Crockett. Another catcher who could run when he first came up was John Roseboro of the Dodgers.
Number 2, Jackie Hernandez.
And then we had Ernie Lombardi. Ernie was so slow they used to play him in the outfield. They had a 7-man outfield against him, and he still was a 300 hitter. Hernandez hit into a forced play and struck out.
Well, this is Powell, and he's got to retie that shoe, and this was part of his complaint to the umpire that Sanguillen stepped on his shoe, which, you know, would have really no bearing on it. Depends on when the ball got there.
He needs a shoehorn. You know, things have a way of creeping up on us. Yesterday, NCAA colleges opened basketball practice for the 71-72 season. In the climax of that basketball season, seen in March, when we cover all the NCAA National Basketball Championship. Another World Series attraction on NBC. The finals, semifinals will be held in Los Angeles this year, next March. And NBC's cameras will be there. All right. Sanguillen on first, 2 down. Pirates ahead 2-0. Sanguillen has just had the 7th Pirate hit. The Orioles have only 2 hits. A strike to Hernandez, who's hit into a forced play and struck out. Sanguillen has stolen 2 bases. The Pirates have 4 steals. The last couple of games they've been running on the Oriole catchers successfully. Palmer wants to keep him close. count to Hernandez is 1 strike. Pop up, shallow right center. Davey Johnson going out, and the Orioles second baseman has it. No runs for the Pirates. 1 hit, there were no errors, 1 left at the end of 5 1/2. It's Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore nothing.
With tag number Maryland GG 2470. Report to your car at once.
I don't think they will.
Testing, Sam. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 1.
Now, word on behalf of Major League Baseball, this is the 25th anniversary of the Players' Pension Fund. From the beginning, the benefits were generous. But in 1946, no one dreamed that today we'd see a 10-year man commanding a pension of $500 a month at the age of 50, or $1,288 a month at age 65, which Leo DeRocher has just come up with. The player pension is one of baseball's great assets. The Orioles have now gone scoreless 22 innings in a row, and they have Buford, Johnson, and Powell, the top of their order, up in the last of the 6. Buford has singled and struck out. He has one of the 2 hits off Bob Moose. A ball as he bluffed the bunt and brought Hebner charging in from third. Buford a switch hitter. Fouls it back, 1-1 to Don Buford. Game 4, the Orioles had 3 runs in the first inning against the Pirates, and since then, nothing. Breaking pitch just off that corner. 2-1.
And on the other side, Curt, here are the Pirates now in Game 6, and they have totaled out to 57 men left on so far.
All 3. If this series would end today, 6 games, the Pirates would break an all-time record for men left on. That's Billy Hunter now. Will he send up hit or take? 50 left on base was the old record for a 6-game series. 3-1 pitch. Moose comes in with a clutch pitch to make it 3-2. The bases are empty, nobody out. Moose has walked 2, walked Belanger twice. Rams it, foul. Three and 2 to Don Buford. A high drive deep to right field. That one is going. It is gone. A home run.
Here is the Buford swing that gives Baltimore their first run on their 3rd base hit. For such a little fella, as you see, he generates a tremendous amount of power. And here now, Dave Johnson.
Dave Johnson has hit into a double play and bounced out. The score now, Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. A chopper, charging, Hebner, can't handle it. Johnson safe.
here is something you've not seen much of in this Oriole-Pittsburgh series. A miscue on the part of a Pirate infielder. And you see it was right off the heel of Hebner's glove. And he has been charged with an error. And if ever the Orioles needed a spark, needed something to turn them around, it is, of course, here in this game. And it would appear that this could be the spark that could start them.
That's just the second error by the Pirates in the series. The first in the infield. Al Oliver in the outfield committed the other error. Boog Powell up. Foul off. And he's still hitting the ball weakly. Not hitting those line shots that he's famous for. And we're getting action now in the Pittsburgh bullpen. It is Bob Johnson and Luke Walker. Johnson, the right-hander, Walker, the left-hander. The Orioles have finally scored after 22 consecutive scoreless innings. Inside to Powell, 1-1. They have Johnson on first, nobody out. 2-1. Pittsburgh ahead, last of the sixth. They have the shift on again against Powell. They've used that three-man infield shift and the outfield overshifted against Powell and Ellie Hendricks all through the series. Inside. 2 balls and a strike to Boog Powell. Dave Johnson at first. The Oriole fans have come to life here in the sixth. Just missed with a breaking pitch. Powell had ideas, but changed up. 3 balls and a strike. Billy Hunter, the third base coach. Bob Moose, who grew up 15 miles from Old Forbes Field. I asked him today if he used to go in and watch the Pirates play when he was a youngster. He said, no, I used to go hunting instead. An avid outdoorsman. 3 balls, 1 strike. Powell going after that fastball, fouls it away.
And he has kept everything. Moose has just kept everything he's thrown to Boog right in on his fist. And a little different sort of a portrait now out of the Oriole dugout from manager Earl Weaver. But this man, he just doesn't change.
3-2. Will they start Dave Johnson? He's at first base. Nobody out. No. And it's a base hit in the right field. Johnson's coming to third. Powell's on first. Clemente throws to Robertson, who cuts it off. And the Orioles have runners on first and third, nobody out. That ball just eluded Bob Robertson, who's made some very fine fielding plays in this series at first base.
Well, you can take a look at it again, a game of inches, and this one just does get by Robertson, who is a very good fielding first baseman. Just got under the glove. And the Orioles, who definitely needed some kind of a break, some bit of help to turn them around, seem to have picked it up here in this last half of the sixth inning, starting with a Buford home run, and then one of the most infrequent Pirate mistakes in this series. And let's face it, errors are a part of the ball game, and Hebner had one just trickle off the glove. Now Powell is singled, and now the Orioles have the tying run 90 feet away, and Frank Robinson at the plate. And I believe that Verdon has already signed to the bullpen, and he would want the right-hander Bob Johnson, if I read the sign correctly. But the Pirate bullpen is not heeding the call of the umpire.
Bob Johnson.
Now
right,
Johnson
Chuck.
takes.
Well, we have a break in the action now, Baltimore, with a score. The Pittsburgh Pirates 2 and the Baltimore Orioles 1. started game 2, didn't he? Where am I score for the center to play?
I don't know where they are.
Oh. Started game 2.
Yes. 3 1/3 innings in game 2.
The preceding announcement was made on behalf of Major League Baseball. Robert Dale Johnson, who started the second game of this series, was knocked out early this year, won 9, lost 10. His big win of the year was in the playoffs against the Giants when he beat them 2-1 at Pittsburgh. In that game 2, he pitched only 3 1/3 innings, allowing 4 runs, 4 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 1. Well, the Orioles now have runners on first and third, nobody out. We just saw Dave Johnson at third, Boog Powell at first. Buford led off with a homer. Last of the 6th inning, and the Pirates are leading 2-1. Frank Robinson has struck out and lined to right. And this is the Orioles' big chance. Rettemund will follow Frank Robinson to the plate. He pops it up. He went after the first pitch and popped it to the shortstop, Hernandez. 1 away. Rettemund coming up now. He's grounded to short and grounded to second. Looks like that ball is a little bit outside, Chuck.
It did look as though it was not the kind of a pitch that Frank would, but I guess it was the Johnson fastball, and when you see that fastball, all systems are go,
Pirates still leave that infield back. Runners on first and third, 1 out. Pirates hanging on to a 2-1 lead. Right to Rettemund. That's Johnson, the lead man at third. Boog Powell at first. Bluffed the bunt. He's got strike 2 on him. Think they might have had a play on. 2 strikes on him now. 1 down, runners on first and third. Ball and 2 strikes as Johnson tried to tease him. You can watch Sanguillen. Earl Weaver doesn't look too happy. One ball, 2 strikes. He's out. A fastball cut the corner to him. And Bob Johnson has come in to get Robinson on a pop-up. Look at Weaver. Ooh. Trying egg in the back of his neck right now. And Rettemund on a strikeout. So far, marvelous clutch relief pitching by Bob Johnson. Now Bill Verdon moves out. This will be reminding Johnson maybe something about Brooks Robinson. That's all it was. Brooks Robinson is grounded to first and single to right. Let's see. Let's check that Pirate bullpen again now.
Bob Miller has joined Luke Walker out there, Curt.
Pirates ahead 2-1. The Orioles had runners on first and third, nobody out and a run in. Now they're 2 down. Brings a curve over for a strike. Johnson at third. Howell at first. They're still there. Weaver's going to be fit to be tied if they don't get this man in from third this inning. And it's hit to third. Hebner goes over to Cash, and Bob Johnson comes in and does a fantastic relief job. Look at this. Earl Weaver down the runway, frustrated. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left. And at the end of 6, Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. Lou, that's what I try to tell Tommy. I've been watching him down that dugout. There's some great reaction shots in there. Well, certainly, 20,000 on the line. Money grows on trees, then you don't have to bother saving any. But until that happy day comes, there's a very simple way to save. United States Savings Bonds. It grows on you by United States Savings Bonds, where you work or where you bank. Bob Johnson, a strike to him. Must be getting some standing rounds of applause around the homes of the Pittsburgh area. Ground ball to short. Belanger throws Johnson out. Boy, what a job he did coming in there with runners on first and third, nobody out, and getting Frank Robinson, Rettemund, and Brooks Robinson out. 1 down in the 7th inning. The Pirates hanging on to a 2-1 lead.
Number 30.
Dave Cash popped up twice, grounded to short. Cash being played slightly to the opposite field. Jim Palmer outside with the ball. Palmer gave up a run in the second when Robertson singled in Oliver, who doubled. Clemente hit a home run in the third, and he shut him out since. Ball 2. Palmer is due to bat in the last of the 7th, though. And now Pat Dobson starting to warm up in the Oriole bullpen. Oh, the failure of Palmer's teammates to at least tie this game for him, or go ahead. They get Palmer out of here. 2-1. Pat Dobson. One down, nobody on. Ball 3. The Cash. Strike 2. Palmer has walked only 1 today, where he walked 8 in the second game. He struck out 3. 3-2 pitch. Hit on a hop to Belanger. 2 down. Palmer appears to be in the groove now, Chuck.
He certainly seems to have hit the stride. He has thrown many more curveball strikes, and the fastball apparently is still, pretty active, and has pitched a whole lot better since the 3rd inning than he had through the first 3.
Richie Hebner has flied to center, popped to short, and walked. Ball 1, and I imagine Richie's very happy that Bob Johnson bailed him out after Richie made that error that could have been costly for the Pirates in the last of the 6th. As it's turned out, the error didn't cause any damage. He's got a ground ball and back a second. There's where Belanger was playing him, and Belanger made all the plays in the 7th inning. The Orioles are coming up for their 7th inning stretch, and the score is still Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. The Orioles send up the bottom third of their order in the last of the 7th. Ellie Hendricks, Mark Belanger, and Jim Palmer against Bob Johnson, who came in with runners on 1st and 3rd, nobody out in the 6th. Did not allow a ball to be hit out of the infield. He sends a slow curve low to Hendricks for a ball. Mark Sanguian, he'll give the sign, and he'll give a second sign where he wants the ball. Foul into the seat. And in this last 4 games of this series, these Pirate pitchers have put that ball where Sanguian wants it. And very few pitches over the fat part of the plate. The 1-1 pitch. Away from him. 2-1. Dobson warming up in the Oriole bullpen. They may hit for Palmer. We'll see. A little pop-up. Willie Stargell coming in, the left fielder. 1 away. Well, it's always the thrills of the big top, and Ed McMahon has your front row seat reserved for the Timex All-Star Circus Tuesday night right here on NBC. Belanger has walked twice. Pittsburgh leading 2-1, last half the 7th. Fastball for a strike by Bob Johnson. 28 years old, born in Aurora, Illinois, lives in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Foul back. Broke his ankle in a motorcycle accident, I think in '67. And they thought they might have to amputate his leg. You'll watch him if he feels his position or has to move off the mound. He runs with a slight limp. 2 doctors had advised a leg amputation. Check swing. Strike 2. The Pirates made a big trade for him. They traded to Kansas City pitcher Bruce Del Canton, catcher Jerry May, and shortstop Freddie Patek. 3 for 1. Johnson was disappointing during the regular season, but he came through in the playoffs, and so far he's been great in relief in this game. One and 2 to Mark Belanger. 1 out, nobody on. 2-2 now. Dave Justy is the warm-up pitcher in the Pittsburgh bullpen, their ace reliever. There's a ground ball into right field for a base hit. Jim Palmer is on the on-deck, so he's going to bat. Palmer will hit for himself. They're probably having up their bunting. Get that tying run down to second. And the way he's been going the last 4 innings, Weaver probably figures he can't bring anybody in any better.
And that's the age-old rule of baseball, isn't it, Curt? If you haven't got anything better in the bullpen, stay with what you've got.
Hebner creeping in at third. A strike to Palmer. How good a bunter is he, Chuck?
Well, the best bunter on the Oriole ball club among the pitchers is the fellow warming in the bullpen right now, Pat Dobson.
One strike. Palmer sacrificed in the third and struck out.
Be interesting to see if they just keep the butt on, Curt. Baltimore sometimes puts it on, takes it off, puts it on. See whether Palmer continues.
Pirates leading 2-1, last of the seventh. The strike. Or is it? Got the umpire signal up with his right arm. They have 1-1 on the scoreboard. And now they may take a sign off as third base coach Billy Hunter wants to talk to Palmer. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think the first base umpire, Shylock, was indicating he lifted his bat back, that he wasn't offering with his bat. 1-1 to Jim Palmer. Belanger at first, 1 out. Ball 2. Sanguin hopping on that one.
And in that pitch, the bunt apparently was not in order. Now they look for it again.
It's the first time we've seen Murtaugh up and showing some emotion. 2 balls and a strike. Ball 3. 3-1 to Jim Palmer. Weaver saying to Billy Hunter, go down there and talk to him now. Let's be sure we're straightened out. Billy Hunter, the third base coach. The Orioles, the last half of the seventh, have Belanger at first, 1 out. They blew a great chance in the sixth, and they had to run in runners in first and third and couldn't score with nobody out. The 3-1 pitch. Strike 2, 3-2 to Jim Palmer. Palmer's giving Johnson a workout. Strike 3, he's out. Palmer thought it was a ball. Weaver's unhappy. Murtaugh settled back down again. 2 down. Don Buford has singled, struck out, and hit a home run. He has 2 of the 5 Baltimore hits. The Pirates have 7 hits. They're leading 2-1, Pittsburgh is. Johnson slips the curve over to him for a strike. Buford played as a pull hitter to right. You saw those 19 home runs he hit during the regular season. He can yank the ball out of here, as we saw in the sixth. He's hit 2 homers in this series now. Bob Robertson's hit 2 home runs. Big hole for him at shortstop. 1-1 to Buford. And Frank Robinson has hit 2 home runs. One ball, 1 strike. Belanger at first, 2 away. And that breaking pitch low and inside. 2 balls and a strike to Don Buford. You see what he's swatting at? I don't know what it is here, but this field is alive with those yellow jackets, sort of bees or yellow jackets, and they've been stinging some of the players. down the batting cages. The 2-1 pitch. There goes the runner. High to throw. He's in there with a stolen base.
Now here is the steal at second. Sanguillen's throw bounces. Belanger had the great jump and is in with Baltimore's first stolen base of the series. Belanger steals, and we're now going to have Bill Verdon come out and talk with Bob Johnson. And the Orioles continue to try to mount some kind of pressure, and Palmer has pitched exceedingly well over the last few innings and held the Pirates to only 2 runs in hopes that Baltimore can somehow start something. He got caught up.
I think he wants Justy out of that bullpen. Dave Justy, who saved 30 games for the Pirates this year. He saved more games than anyone else in the National League, and they want him now. So Justy will come on the pitch, and while he makes his way in, we'll tell you the score here in the last half. The 7th is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 1.
Attention, please. Now coming in the pitch for the Pirates, number 31, Dave Justy.
Well, as you see, Dave Justy has come in from the bullpen, and while he warms, let's go to Tony Kubek.
Well, if the manager has a game plan in baseball, the game plan for Danny Murtaugh was to get 5 strong innings out of his starting pitcher, Bob Moose. That he did, and then when Moose got in trouble, Bob Johnson came on in the 6th to get the Pirates out of a lot of trouble. It seems like it's someone different in every ball game for the Pirates picking up the slack. It was Keeson in one ball game. Of course, Roberto Clemente has led this team along all the way. We've had some great shots in the dugouts of the managers. There's a lot of money at stake, as you well know, almost $20,000. Earl Weaver has been very upset. He's tried to arouse and exhort his men to get off their backs and come back up. But every time it looks like the Orioles are going to come back, somebody from the Pirates comes up and puts them right back down. Let's see if Justy can do it right here. Back upstairs.
Dave Justy's 3rd appearance in this series. He's worked 3 innings, allowed just 1 hit, no runs. He's walked 1, struck out 1. 31 years old, born in Seneca Falls, New York, lives in Pittsburgh. He is the Pittsburgh player representative. A little college football here. At the half, Penn State 24, Syracuse nothing. At the half, Dartmouth 10, Brown 7. At the half, Yale 7, Columbia nothing. First period, Princeton 15, Colgate nothing. First period, Florida and Florida State no score. First period, Georgia Tech 7, Auburn nothing. And our score here in Game 6 of the World Series, the Pirates are leading 2-1. If they hold this lead, they win the series. Belanger is at second base. The count is 3-1 to Don Buford. It's ball 4, and the walk is charged to Bob Johnson, the preceding pitcher. Justy came in behind in the count. So Johnson logged an inning and 2/3, gave up 1 hit, no runs. He's responsible for the 2 men on. He struck out 2, walked 1. Dave Johnson hit into a double play, bounced to the pitcher, reached in an error. He hasn't had the ball out of the infield. 2 down, runners on first and second in the last of the 7th. Foul back. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. Curt Gowdy, Chuck Thompson, Tony Kubek back with you. Baltimore The Pirates leading 2-1 in the last of the 7th. Van Gien was sure he was in front of that one. 1-1 count to Dave Johnson. Belanger's at second. Buford's at first. They have been the Baltimore attack today. Those two have been on base 3 times apiece. Justy's breaking pitch low, 2-1. That's a strike at the knees, 2-2. Pitching him down. Bob Miller, a right-hander. Luke Walker, a left-hander, are heating up in the Pirate bullpen. 2-2 to Dave Johnson. 2 down. Runners on first and second. And there's a soft line in the left field for a base hit. Belanger comes in, ties it up. Garagiola threw behind the runner at second. Dave Johnson singles to left, throwing Belanger from second. Garagiola threw behind the runner. He does that. He and Clemente will throw behind runners. He tried to nip Buford at second, but couldn't do it. He knew he didn't have a play at the plate. Boog Powell flied out, popped up, and singled to right. So we're in a tie game now, 2-2, last half the 7th. They have a shift on for Powell. He hits a high drive to left field. Willie Stargell camped under it, and that's it. Baltimore tied it with 1 run. 2 hits, no Pittsburgh errors, and 2 left. At the end of 7, the score, Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 2. Run is charged to Johnson, right?
Correct.
We pause now for station identification. Now we're in the 8th inning at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, and the Pirates send up Clemente, Stargell, and Oliver, the heart of their batting order, in the 8th. Clemente tripled to left center in the 1st, hit a home run to right field in the 3rd, lined out to center field in the 5th. Oh, he's hit the ball to every field in this game. He's getting a hand now every time up. Baltimore fans know a ball player when they see one.
And I'll tell you, they know that they have seen one in Roberto Clemente. He's impressed me as much as any ball player I've ever seen.
He has been very outspoken all of his career. He says what he thinks. He hits a high fly into left center. Calling for it is Don Buford. Got it. One down. Clemente had criticized the playing field here. Said it's a bad ballpark. I asked him again today. That's what I mean, that it is. My opinion. Willie Stargell has struck out, grounded out, struck out. 0 for 3. You'd figure the two big strong boys in this series would be Stargell and Powell. They've had only one extra base hit between them. That was a double by Stargell. Palmer gives him the fastball, 1-1. We're in a tie game, 2-2 in the 8th inning. Jim Palmer's gone all the way. Changed up. Ball 2, 2-1 to Stargell. The Pirates went down 1-2-3 in the 7th. Very unusual for them in this series. Foul ball back. They had gone 20 innings in a row, getting at least one man on base. The Orioles finally got him out in order in the 7th. 2-2 to Stargell. 3-2. You won't see pitchers work much quicker than this. Now back. 3-2 to Stargell. 1 out, nobody on. Game tied 2-2. 8th inning. If we have Game 7 tomorrow, Steve Blass, a right-hander, pitches for the Pirates. Cuellar is scheduled to start for the Orioles. Foul again out of play. Three-two pitch. Change up. That one's hit deep to left. Buford going back. He's got it. Two down. Al Oliver, double to right.
Number 16.
Grounded out, fly to left. These Pirates continue to hit the ball all over. Right-handers to right, left-handers to left. There's a drive into right center. Rettemund moves under it, and he gets them out. 1, 2, 3. And the Oriole fans roars. Jim Palmer comes back into the Oriole dugout. At the end of 7.5 innings, the game is tied 2-2. One, two, three, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's it. Okay.
One, two. A reminder to all sports fans that in February 1972, NBC Sports will be in Sapporo, Japan, telecasting the 1972 Olympic Winter Games. Over 30 hours of alpine skiing, ski jumping, cross-country, bobsledding, speed skating, figure skating, hockey, all the events that make the Winter Olympics so exciting. And you'll see it all right here on NBC. Last of the 8th inning, Frank Robinson leads off for the Orioles. He struck out, line to right, and he popped up. The runners on first and third and nobody out in the 6th. He'll be followed by Rettemund and Brooks Robinson. strike to him on a curveball. And here in the late innings now, they're guarding the lines. Weaver trying to get someone's attention. Richie Hebner's guarding that third base line, so Robinson can't punch one by him for extra bases. And Hernandez playing way over in the hole. They'll give him the single up the middle. A ball, 1-1. Bob Moose went 5 innings. Johnson pitched an inning and 2/3. Justy worked a third of an inning. Ball and 2 strikes. They're feeding Robinson nothing but breaking stuff today. Checks his swing, 2-2 count. G-U-I-S-T-I. Justy. Pitching 2-2 to Frank Robinson. There's a foul ball that is going to be over by the tarp and just off. Looked like the tip of the glove of Bob Robertson. He's got quite a boarding house reach. Two and two to Frank Robinson. Nobody on, nobody out. This game is tied 2-2 in the last of the 8th inning. Got him on a fastball. One away in the last of the 8th. Verb Rettemund has grounded to short, grounded to second, and struck out.
Number 14, Verb Rettemund.
Ball 1 to Rettemund. The foul levels the count at 1-1. The lights have been on in the entire game. The sun has tried to come through a couple of times, but hasn't quite made it. An overcast day here in Baltimore. Rather muggy today. On the corner for strike 2. Look at Weaver. I'm glad I can't read lips. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rettemund. And he strikes out on an off-speed curve. Robinson and Rettemund have been stopped cold in the number 4 and 5 spot in the Baltimore order. Rich Robinson is grounded to first, single to right, hit into a force play. 1 out of 3. Baltimore has 2 down, nobody on. Fastball misses. 1-0 to Brooks Robinson. Ball 2. If we have Game 7 tomorrow, we'll start here on NBC at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time with World Series report and the ball game at 2 o'clock. Have a Sunday law here. You can't start a game before 2 in Baltimore. Foul ball. The count to Brooks Robinson, 2 balls and a strike. 2 down, nobody on. This game is tied 2-2 in the last of the 8th inning. Just missing that corner. 3-1. And you Pirate fans looking ahead to the ninth, you'll have Robertson, Sanguillen, and Hernandez due up. 3-1 pitch. Like 2, 3-2. Ground ball, Dave Cash up with it, his throw. He still got him. Dave Cash hung in with it and got a lucky roll up his arm for that one.
Well, we'll have an opportunity to see this one again, and again I point to the fact that this young man at second base, Dave Cash, does not get rattled. He does not hurry himself. He takes his time and makes very certain of the play. A very cool, very professional performance. And so, at the end of 8 complete innings, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 2.
Bob Robertson leads off for the Pirates in the 9th inning against Jim Palmer. Robertson has hit the ball hard today. Lined a single to left, but not going to run in the second. Strike one to him. He lined a single to left in the 4th, and he lined out to the shortstop in the 6th. 2 out of 3. Pirates got a run in the 2nd. Clemente hit a homer in the 3rd, nobody on. The Orioles got a run in the 6th and scored the tying run in the 7th. 1 ball, 1 strike. We've had a lot of phone calls come into Baltimore and telegrams. I want to explain something. Ball to Chuck Thompson earlier said that no team has ever lost the first 2 games of the series and then won 4 in a row, and he was correct. No team has ever lost the first 2 games and then come back to capture 4 straight and win the series. 4 times teams foul ball. 4 times in series history, a club has won the series 4 games to 3 after losing the first 2, but they haven't done it by winning 4 straight. We want to clarify that. There's been a lot of calls and telegrams coming in. 2-2 to Bob Robertson, top of the 9th inning. Oh, the Oriole fans thought that was strike 3. So did Henry. So that Weaver's got his cap on. He's been a wild man over there in that dugout the last 3 innings. He doesn't think his club's getting the pitches. 3-2 to Robertson. Nobody on, nobody out. Foul back. Eddie Watt, a right-hander, and Pete Rickert, a left-hander, are ready for Baltimore if they're needed. This will be a 3-2 pitch. Struck him out in the fastball. A 4 strikeout for Palmer. He has walked only 1 in this game. That was in the 5th. He got in the groove after the 4th inning. Manny Sanguillen has singled, fouled out, and singled. Palmer now has retired 8 in a row. 0-1 to Sanguillen. as usual, going for that first pitch. There they are, Eddie Watt, the right-hander, and Rickert, the left-hander. One ball, one strike. This game tied 2-2, top of the ninth. And for you Baltimore fans, the Orioles in the last of the ninth have the bottom of the order up: Hendricks, Belanger, and Palmer. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sanguillen. When Palmer's right, he's probably the most overpowering pitcher in the Baltimore staff. Change. 2-2. He has the best lifetime won or loss percent of any active American League pitcher. His curve misses. 3-2. He's won 68%. This will be argued by Baltimore fans. That could have been the ball game.
I'll take a look at the play again. Buford trying to obstruct Hernandez. He accomplished that. Now the Hernandez throw and the Johnson slide in an effort to reach. And the throw clearly beats Johnson, and the umpire with a fine call. So at the end of a regulation 9 innings, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 2. When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. Ball should have gone to left field.
Lou, what do we do now? Yeah. Right, okay. Stop. Great game, Lou. I don't know. They've had their shot.
2 of them. All right. In Game 6, extra innings, Pat Dobson out of the Baltimore bullpen, and here is Tony Kubek.
Well, I guess we've talked an awful lot about the pressure of World Series play, and right next to the Oriole dugout, it's just a lot of electricity. A little bit of byplay, of course, situated between these two dugouts. Johnny Kibler, the home plate umpire, and he's been getting the heat from both sides. Any pitches that are close in the strike zone, either way, are being, of course, criticized by both managers and dugouts. And Kibler has just kept his cool, has not thrown anybody out of the game yet. I don't know how, because he's taken a lot of heat and called a great ball game. Back upstairs.
All right, Tony, the last extra inning game of the World Series with the 4th game of the 69 series. We're now going to the 10th inning. This game tied 2-2, and let's see what happens here in the 10th inning, Chuck Thompson.
Well, the first thing, the Pirates will bring up a pinch swinger in the person of Vic Davalillo. Davalillo will be the batter against Pat Dobson, who started Game 4 in Pittsburgh, went 5 1/3 innings and was touched for 10 base hits, walked 3, struck out 4, and was charged with 3 runs. And, of course, came away with no decision. And now we have Vic Davalillo against Pat Dobson. And a ball 1. Davalillo batting for pitcher Dave Justy. Bob Miller. And that'll be the first out of the inning to second baseman Johnson. Well, the extra inning records of these two clubs are very interesting. Baltimore won 7 and lost 7 in extra innings. The Pirates won 6 and lost 6 in extra innings. One down on the top of the batting order, Dave Cash. Here's a young man who has contributed some outstanding defensive plays. And a strike. Dobson throws just about everything. The fastball, the curveball, the slider, and the palm ball. Look out, Pirate dugout. Curt?
Chuck, I was just thinking of that ground ball that Hernandez handled. He stayed right with it, didn't he?
No trouble at all. Well, trouble, yes, but he did not, get too excited and make any rash, quick, sudden moves trying to grab it and get the throw away. Handled it very coolly, I guess. 2 strikes now to Cash. And your on-deck hitter, Rich Hebner. Base hit. Frank Robinson running it down. And Cash will hold with a single. Now here is Hebner. After Cash reaches, Hebner has flied to center, popped to short, walked, and bounced to the shortstop.
Number 20, Richie Hebner.
And against Dobson in Game 4, Hebner had 1 hit in 3 trips. And he scored a run. That's the curveball from Pat Dobson. Jim Palmer went the first 9 innings, 8 hits, walked only 1 batter, struck out 5, and charged, of course, with 2 Pirate runs. And now here is Dobson. Palmer retired the last 10 in a row. That's the pound ball. 2 strikes to Hebner. Dave McNally throwing in the Oriole bullpen, and Bob Miller had been up and warming in the... Here's McNally in the Pirate bullpen. Two-strike pitch to Hebner. No, throw to first. Like the palm ball again. A count now, a ball and 2 strikes. Top of the 10th inning, Game 6 in Baltimore. The Pirates and the Orioles in a 2-2 tie. There goes the runner. Struck him out. Throw to second. Safe at second base.
Well, this is the 5th stolen base of the series. Cash is injured, by the way, when he went into second. You'll see it at the end of this. Low curveball. Hendricks up. And he injured his hand when he went in there. Dave Cash. Watch his slide now. Looks like he's injured his left hand, his left wrist. And they're attending him right now at second base. So the Pirates have a man in scoring position. They have now swiped 5 bases in this series. They're just 1 for the Orioles. They've been running on Hendricks. And Clemente is the batter.
That is exactly the situation. Here is the great Roberto Clemente. This afternoon, he tripled his first time up. He homered his second time. And then a slide to center and fly to left. And I don't think this surprises anybody. The Orioles are going to give him the intentional walk. In the series, Clemente hitting a resounding .440, 11 hits in 25 trips. And Weaver on the phone to the bullpen.
And Earl Weaver said before our night telecast Wednesday, we've got to contain Clemente or we're not going to win this series. And they still haven't contained him.
Well, there's the intentional walk to Clemente, and Weaver now is out of the dugout. He's got McNally down there. Pete Rickard is just now beginning to toss. I'm not certain whether McNally is ready. I guess that's what Weaver's phone call was about, if he chooses to bring McNally. So far as we can determine, I don't believe he's made the sign yet. But Weaver is going to talk to Pat Dobson. And Hendricks, of course, out there. Brooks Robinson tuning in. Curt?
Right now, Watt and Rickard are in the bullpen. Dobson's leaving. Oh, evidently, McNally is coming on. Well, we have a break in the action here at Baltimore with the score in the 10th inning tied 2-2.
Your attention, please. Now coming into pitch for the Orioles, number 19, Dave McNally.
Well, how often do you see this? 320 game winners in a row. Palmer relieved by 20 game winner Dobson. Dobson relieved by 21 game winner McNally. And here in the 10th inning, the Pirates have runners on first and second, 2 down. McNally started the first and 5th games of this series. He won the first game 5-3. He lost the 5th game at Pittsburgh 4-0. Pitched only 4 innings. In this series now he's pitched 13 innings, allowed 10 hits, 7 runs, an earned run average of 2.08. McNally against Willie Stargell, Chuck.
With 2 out and Pirate runners, Cash at second base, Clemente at first base. Top of the 10th inning in a 2-2 tie. Stargell is 0 for 4 this afternoon. Ball 1. Stargell is struck out, grounded to short, struck out, and flied to left. McNally made 30 starts for the Orioles this year. This is his first relief appearance. One and one. Quite naturally, with Stargell at the plate, Powell is backed off at first base with 2 out, and Clemente is getting himself a fantastic lead as McNally releases. Belanger shading toward the bag, cuts down in the lead of Cash, of course, at second. The 1-1. 2-1 now. The 2-1 pitch to Stargell. 3-1. This is McNally's first relief since July 19 of 1969. And the 3-1 pitch to Stargell. Ball 4, he walks in. The bases are loaded with 2 down. McNally on to get the left-handed swinging Stargell, loses him on the base on balls, and now the left-hand swinging Al Oliver. If Game 7 is necessary, 1:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. Pre-game World Series Report 71 with Joe Garagiola and Sandy Koufax. Rickard and Watt in the Oriole bullpen. McNally to Al Oliver. Cash third. Ball. Clemente second, Stargell first. 2 out. The 1-0 to Oliver. The 1-1 to Al Oliver. Foul ball. One and two, the count to Oliver. Bases loaded, 2 out. Missed again with that breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's had trouble getting that curve over.
And that's a very important part of McNally's pitching. He does not have, let's say, the kind of a fastball that Palmer has that overpowers people.
He's throwing the fastball for strikes, but not the curve.
And the 2-2. Well, let's watch Rettemund in center field. And that's it. In the top of the 10th inning, the Pirates, no runs, 1 base hit, no Oriole errors, and 3 are left on. At the end of 9 1/2 innings, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 2. All right. Justy, 2 1/3, 2 hits, a walk, 3 Ks, and no runs. And Miller. What do you say, Boog? You ready to go home? The last half of the 10th inning in Baltimore, as you take a look at managers Earl Weaver and Danny Murtaugh. Bob Miller has come to the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates, replacing Dave Justy, who went 2 1/3, 2 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts, and no runs. And we also have a new center fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Davey, who opened the Pirate half of the 10th inning and lined to the second baseman, stays in the ball game, and is playing in center field. And Bob Miller, his record on the year, 8 wins and 5 defeats. And his figures in the World Series, this will be his 3rd game. He has pitched a total of 4 innings, allowing 6 hits, 1 earned run. Without a walk, he has fanned 2, and his ERA is 2.25. It will be for Baltimore, Powell, Rettemund. Check that, Powell, Frank Robinson, and then Rettemund. Well, Powell has 1 hit in 4 trips this afternoon. Last of the 10th, 2-2 tie. Ball 1 to Powell. And that Powell shift, of course, in effect again. Second baseman Cash. 1 gone. And now hitless this afternoon in 4 plate appearances, Frank Robinson. Struck out in the 2nd, flied to right on the 4th, popped to short in the 6th, struck out again in the 8th. Ball 1.
Look down there at that third base line at Hebner, almost on top of it.
And Hernandez cut well to the hole. 1-1. Paid attendance announced in Baltimore this afternoon is 44,174. 2-1. And the 2-1. 3-1 now to Frank. And Miller now with a tough pitch to make to the likes of Frank Robinson. He missed it. Ball 4. So with 1 out, the Orioles have Frank Robinson at first base, and Merv Rettemund is the batter. Rettemund, like Frank Robinson, 0 for 4, has struck out twice, has grounded to short, and a fine play from second baseman Cash, retired into the 5th inning. Certainly our thanks this afternoon to Alan Roth, our statistician, and Jim O'Gorman, production stage manager. Frank is going to go to third. Cavavalio's throw. Safe.
Well, we talk about Clemente being 37. Frank Robinson still goes from first to third at his age, 35 or 36 years old. He just beats this one in. He never followed. He rounded second. Here's the throw by Davaleo. Beautiful slide by Frank Robinson. Now watch him all alone. Never broke stride, a mark of a good base runner. Comes on in and puts the winning run on third with 1 out. And the Orioles had runners on first and third, nobody out in the 6th, though, after getting a run in and couldn't score. So they've had their chances. Let's see what happens here with Brooks Robinson.
And Brooks Robinson has gone out unassisted to first, singled, hit into a force, and a fine play by Cash again got him in the 8th inning. Out of play. Never had the Orioles a better opportunity than now. Because the Pirates, of course, have no chance to do anything about equalizing if Baltimore can get it here. 1-1. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. One ball, 1 strike to Brooks Robinson. 1 out. Runners first and third. 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes.
36 years old. He really went to third on that, didn't he, Chuck?
He really did. Now the tough part for Baltimore, get him the rest of the way. The 1-2 pitch. Rettemund goes. It's fouled out of play. Rettemund running on the pitch, and Brooks just slapped it out of play. Crowd really buzzing right now. The 1-2 to Brooks Robinson. Watching Frank at third. Davaleo is under it. It's shallow. Davaleo's catch. Frank is coming. Here comes the throw. He scores, and the Orioles win.
And that ball wasn't hit very deep either. So Frank Robinson's 36-year-old legs give the Orioles this uphill victory. As he went from first to third, just made it in. Here it is now. Brooks Robinson gets that ball out of the infield. Davey, you'll see, is in fairly shallow left center. His throw is to the left of home plate. And a high bounce, and Frank Robinson goes right under there, is in with a winning run. The Orioles were behind 2-0. Here he is all alone, tagging, and the ball was touched by Davey. Throughout his career, Robinson's always been an outstanding base runner. And today we saw two old pros really do it, Clemente and Frank Robinson. The final score in 10 innings, Baltimore, 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors, 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for Pittsburgh. Now the two Robinsons teaming up again. Frank Robinson's base running, Brooks Robinson's sacrifice fly to give Baltimore an uphill 10-inning 3-2 victory. Now down to Tony Kubek.
Thank you. With me, Brooks Robinson to my left. He drove in the winning run. To his left, Frank Robinson. Frank, with his legs, got into third base and scored somehow, and I don't know how. Frank, that's one of the most thrilling games I've ever witnessed, and that was some kind of base running.
Well, thank you, Tony. It was a tremendous game. It was a must game for us, and we battled all the way. We didn't hit the way we should have hit today like we had in the last 3 games. We haven't hit, but we kept battling, and Jimmy Palmer did a great job. He held them right there for 2 runs and gave us a chance to win the ball game.
Brooks, you know, they talk about momentum, and it seems like you haven't been able to snatch the momentum out of the hands of that Pittsburgh ball club until maybe right now.
Well, that's right. We had to do something, and really, Palmer pitched, it was really, he just pitched great, and that's just about the whole story. And I'm just happy we're going to the 7th game now, Tony, and I'm glad we played a little better than we've been playing, too, so that makes everybody feel better.
Frank, I saw when you got that into third base after rounding second and beating that Davey throw that you looked like you may have had a little twinge in your left leg. Did you pull something?
Well, Tony, it's a slight pull in the back of my muscle and the thigh, and I don't think it'll be too serious. All I know is, serious or not, I'll be out there tomorrow. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, tomorrow we've got Mike Cuellar, Steve Blass. What about Steve Blass? You saw him one time. He was very effective.
That's right, Tony. He's got the best stuff on their pitching staff, and so far he's got the best stuff we've seen this series. I'm sure he'll be ready to go. He was their best pitcher going down the stretch. He got roughed up a little in the playoffs, but he pitched a great game against us, and we know we'll have our hands full. And I'd like to say something about Mike Cuellar. Every time we seem to be struggling along, even during the season, and here comes Cuellar to do the job, and I'm sure that he's going to be equal to the task.
Frank, during the course of this ball game, some strange things happened. The ball bounced over Belanger's head, and a couple of bad hops. A bad hop, too, of course, their shortstop, Hernandez, but he got the ball and still threw the base runner out, and it seemed like things just weren't ever going to turn back in your direction.
Well, it seemed that way, Tony, but with this ball club, we didn't give up, we didn't complain, we didn't drop our heads when those things happened. We just kept battling, and we knew that our pitchers would try to hold them right there, and we figured we'd score some runs and win the ball game. But as I say, we didn't drop our heads. That's just part of the game. He made the play, and it was a tremendous play by Jackie.
You know, Brooksy, I don't think I've ever been as emotionally spent, and I just sat there watching the ball game. There's an awful lot of pressure in World Series play, and it's talked about an awful lot. But today I thought there was a pretty courageous effort on a guy that wasn't even a player, Johnny Kibler, who got heat from your dugout. When he called it the other way, he got heat from the other dugout. He was under extreme pressure, and I thought he called a pretty darn good ball game under the circumstances.
Yeah, I think so too, Tony. I mean, it's when everything kind of builds up, and everybody's kind of hollering back and forth, and like I say, he really kept his cool, and I thought he did a great job too.
Frank, you said before the ball game, a little interview we had, it's going to go till tomorrow. It is, and I'm sure you're just feel great shape mentally right now after having the thing swing in your direction.
Well, that's no doubt about it, Tony. We feel great. We wish we could have wrapped this thing up sooner, but with 2 great ball clubs like ours in Pittsburgh, I think this does the series justice for both ball clubs to go into the 7th game 3-3.
Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow in the 7th game of the World Series. Back upstairs.
And we'll be right back. And now we pause for station identification. Somebody let us know what we're doing.
No, I don't, but you want me to run and get Weaver or somebody? All right.
Chroma key, guys.
All right, let me get out of the way here, Curt.
Chroma key what? How much time do we have? What do they want us to do? We'd like to know. Give us some kind of an idea. Some kind of direction up there. No. Okay. Let's review the scoring if you didn't see this entire game today. The second real spine tingler we've had in this series. The night game and this one. Two of the best, by the way, Chuck, we've seen in a long time in World Series play.
I don't know how you could see any better than you had Wednesday night and then this afternoon.
Right.
They were fantastic.
And in the second inning, the Pirates had a double by Al Oliver to right field, and he scored on Bob Robertson's single to give Pittsburgh a 1-0 lead. Jim Palmer was pitching at this time. In the third inning with one out, Clemente drove a home run to the right field seats. The Pirates leading 2-0. Palmer gave up a leadoff single to Robertson in the fourth, but after that, he was really something, and he shut out the Pirates in the last 6 innings. The Orioles finally got on the scoreboard. They had goose egg after goose egg through games 4, 5, and into today's game when Don Buford hit a home run to lead off the 6th. Then Dave Johnson was safe on Hebner's error, went to third on Powell's single, and it looked like the Orioles might finally break it open. They had runners in first and third, nobody out. But the Pirates brought in Bob Johnson in relief, and he got Robinson on a pop-up, Rettemund on a strikeout, and Brooks Robinson bounced into a force out. So that left the Orioles still behind 2-1. But they tied it in the 7th with one out. Belanger single, Stoll second, and came in to score on Dave Johnson's single to left. So we went into extra innings, and in those extra innings you just saw Frank Robinson, 36 years old, go from first to third on a base hit to center by Rettemund. Charged by Davaleo, too late with the throw, and then Robinson got those legs churning again and scored on a fly ball in the shallow center field off the bat of Brooks Robinson. And so we go into Game 7, and let's go down to Tony again.
Thank you. With me, Davey Johnson to my left, Mark Belanger, also the fine shortstop, and the final infield combination of this Oriole team. And you know, I thought about you back in the early innings when that ball went over your head. I recall 11 years ago in Pittsburgh, Mark, a ball doing the same thing to me, except this one missed you.
I'm glad it did. I'll tell you, if I was closer to the ball, it had me because it took a nasty hop.
You're on base 4 times today, 3 walks, a base hit. And, of course, in a very important stolen base when the score was 2-1 and many people did not suspect that you were going to go. You had a good jump.
Yes, I did. The skip put it on earlier, and I had to go if I get the jump sign, and I got a pretty good jump, and I thought I had a stolen one once I took off.
Davey Johnson, very quickly, your infield and your defense has been maligned somewhat, but you came back today and played good defensive baseball.
All right, well, Mark and I are the big guys, Tony. I'm glad you got us on. Thank you.
I appreciate you infielders. I know that whenever it comes into the crucial situation, it's not the power hitters, it's the defense. Dave Johnson, Mark Belanger, thank you and good luck in game number 7 tomorrow. Back upstairs.
Yes, sir, it's Cuellar against Blast tomorrow. And now, tomorrow, we'll close it off, Chuck, and it's been a home park World Series so far.
And it's my understanding, Curt, that no team has ever won 4 in their home ballpark, and the Orioles have the opportunity to do that tomorrow. As Frank Robinson told me before the ball game today, he said, hey, kid, don't make any plans for Sunday.
Right. So at the final score again, 10 innings, 3-2, Baltimore wins it. And we'll be seeing you all tomorrow. Curt Gowdy here with Chuck Thompson and Tony Kubek. As this telecast was presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. And Game 6 of the 71 World Series has been brought to you by Phillips 66, the performance company. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts. By Chrysler Corporation, extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. And by the Dry Look. Hey, that wet head is dead. Long live the Dry Look. seventh and final game of the World Series will start tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time with Joe Garagiola and Sandy Koufax, a World Series report. And we'll have the World Series, and right after that, pro football, either Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver. Check your local listing, all right here on NBC.